Hey everyone, first of all, I want to say thanks to everyone who showed up for our 10,000 subscriber party yesterday. That was awesome, and you guys really stepped up and made that something special. And it's awesome that we have such a community out there helping out the GJP channel. Very, very grateful for the way that went. As speaking, that video has received almost 2,000 views, and I've had nothing but positive comments, people reaching out, thanking us for what we're doing for the channel. But I want to thank you guys for making that possible by actually watching the video. A little bit of a spoiler alert. At the end of that video, I brought out a computer to surprise Whit. She has worked so incredibly hard on this channel and deserves so much more than what she's getting out of it. She is literally working here about 30 hours a week, and I'm doing what I can, but I'm not able to deliver a amount of compensation for her that makes that even remotely worth her time. So, as a thank you for what she's done, I'm building her a computer, and she's been needing something for a while. The computer that she's been editing on at home is 9 years old. Her main computer is 9 years old. And that's all she's had access to other than when she comes here to work out of the trailer. And it's one of the reasons I offered the trailer to her, because I knew I had stuff that was going to work better than what she's currently had available to her. So, but, she's primarily a filmmaker, and that industry is completely dried up, and she has basically had almost no work for the last 4 months, and that doesn't look like it's going to be changing anytime soon. So I wanted to do something for her. She's been wanting a new computer pretty badly. She's been asking me about it for nearly a year, not much less than a year at this point. And I put together a few configurations for her, and she had set a goal to put together a machine that was going to be about $2,000. And honestly, I think for what she does, that's probably about right. She doesn't just work in Premiere. She actually works in After Effects and Photoshop quite a bit too. And those can be both memory and CPU intensive, depending on what you're doing. So the computer that I built for her is certainly up to the task of editing Premiere, even for 4K. So that's going to get her by. But I would really like to do more for her. And I told her in the video yesterday that I was going to take all the money that I earn from YouTube, and I was going to put that towards her computer for the next little while, until it's upgraded, basically, however long that takes. I'm doing okay with my other work, so I'm happy to take any money that comes in through YouTube, whether that be through YouTube itself, or through Patreon, or, as we just announced yesterday, memberships. Anything that comes in, I'm going to be sending her way, either in the form of parts for her computer, or actually paying her for the time that she's putting into this. I want you guys to know something about her. Everybody can see that she's beautiful on the outside, but as I've gotten to know her, she's way more beautiful on the inside than she is on the outside. She's an amazing person, and deserves so much more out of life than what is given to her. And so by giving her this computer, I just wanted to let her know that I appreciate who she is, even though not everybody can see that. She I feel silly crying, but she really is a fantastic person. She's so incredibly giving. She's doing this stream team thing completely out of the good of her heart. Month of July, all the combined stream team revenue from the videos and Amazon links and everything only amounted to about $80. That's what I gave her. We were originally going to split it, but I'm sending everything to her because she needs some help. She works so hard on the projects here on this channel. She's absolutely revolutionized this channel. And she brings a level of enthusiasm and excitement that I never had for this. And I just want so badly for something to go well for her. She's such an incredibly unassuming person. She would never brag about anything she's done. She's done some pretty amazing things in her life, and she's also had some pretty significant challenges too. And as I've had the privilege of working with her for the last year and a half, I've just really come to appreciate how much of an amazing person she is,
how incredibly giving and kind. And I've always told myself that when I encounter people like that I would make sure that I would do everything I can to reward them for their kindness. And I just haven't been able to live up to my own expectations for that. And so this is my plea out to the community to join in and help out a little bit too. So I've set up a GoFundMe to help her out. It's GoFundMe is labeled as Whit Computer, but it's really so much more than that. It's just a way to try and let her know that her efforts are appreciated, not just with DJP and in my friendship with her, but in all aspects of life. She's one of these people that tends to get taken advantage of. She's so kind and giving and helpful to other people that people tend to take advantage of her. And I've sworn to myself that I will never let that happen. So I'm doing what I can, and I would love for the community to step in and help out as well, and for you guys to let her know how much she's loved and appreciated here by this community as well. I know that not everybody has been super enthusiastic about her joining the channel because she's not super knowledgeable about live streaming. She loves filmmaking. She loves the camera aspect of the live production, but the rest of it is not really her passion. And so it's a little interesting that she has put so much effort into this DJP project because this really is not what she's wanting out of life. I mean, I invited her onto the channel for a few reasons. I mean, first of all was to give her some work because when COVID hit, she had nothing going on. And so I invited her to come on and edit the videos for this channel. I'm paying her, but it's a fair rate. It's not amazing, but I'm paying her a fair rate when she works on those videos. And then the stream team thing came along later, and our arrangement with that was originally going to be just 50% split of the revenue that comes in from those videos, whether it be the videos themselves or the Amazon links that are used as part of those. And even though those videos are doing okay, it takes a long time on YouTube to get any sort of real traction in order to make any sort of revenue off of that. So it's been slow going, and it's not working out financially as well as we had hoped, to be quite frank. So, okay, with all of that said, I just want to briefly go over what the computer is that I put together for her and where I want to go with it. So let's take a look at the parts list. I didn't have a huge budget when I put this machine together, so I was only able to put together adequate components for editing video. So there's also some things that are missing. For example, I don't have a monitor for her yet, so that's one of the first things that I wanted to get for her was actually get a decent monitor that's 4K resolution. She works mostly in 4K at this point. And so I'd selected this LG 27, which is very similar to the monitors that I have in the trailer. And that'll be the first thing that I buy for, is getting her a monitor. So like right now, she doesn't have one. Until I'm able to get this one for her, I've got an old one that I gave her a while back. We'll at least give her something, but it's certainly not really ideal for editing video or anything of the sorts. The next thing I wanted to look into was getting her a GPU. The one that's in there is a GeForce 1050 Ti. That's one I had laying around I wasn't doing anything with. And so I figured I'd put it in the machine for her until I can get the one that actually would make the most sense. And I think in this case, that's probably the GeForce RTX 2060 KO. It's a pretty decent video card for video editing and rendering. And it's not the best, but it's pretty good. And that's the one that I would like to put in her machine. And that card is currently about $340. The CPU in the machine is not bad. It's a Ryzen 5 3600, which is a 6-core processor. It's pretty reasonably fast for what it is. It's a great bargain chip. So that's what I'm doing for right now. I would love to get her up to a Ryzen 9 3900X. It's a 12 core chip, so twice the cores of the 3600, and those cores actually run faster. So this chip would actually, for the type of work she's doing, would actually run more than twice as fast, cutting rendering times down quite a bit and helping with other aspects of editing video. That's especially important for working in After Effects, which is something that she is doing more and more of. So and that's the goal, to get the 3900X for her. And that's a $430 chip currently. In terms of memory, I'm setting her up with 32 gigs of RAM, and it's actually fairly high-speed RAM. It's 3000 megahertz, so that's not bad. 32 gig is actually enough for doing video editing. But because she does some things in After Effects, I would love to bump that up to 64 gig before too long. Just in terms of the other components that are already in there, the things that don't necessarily need to be upgraded. In fact, these are all probably fine. The motherboard I got here was a gigabyte X570 Aorus Elite Wi-Fi. That's got a lot of upgradability. That's one of the goals that I had for this machine. I wanted this to last for a really long time for her, because it does take a years before she upgrades a machine. So I wanted this machine to be relevant for 5 or more years. And so I got her a X570 motherboard that is going to be upgradable with new CPUs for a while yet. In terms of power supply, I got sized out a 700 watt model. That should be more than capable of driving motherboard, the graphics card, CPU, and some additional drives as well. So I think we're okay there. The case is, I wanted to get her something that had a little bit of style to it, so I got her the Lee & Lee Mid-Tower ATX in white. Didn't want just a boring black box. There's that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And the SSD, main SSD, I got her a 1 terabyte NVMe Gen 3x4 drive from Silicon Power, and it's a 1 terabyte model. And that'll be all right for a while. At some point, I would like to bump her up to a second SSD, probably a 2 terabyte model, but I think we'll be okay for a while. We don't necessarily have to get her a second drive on that just yet. For longer term media storage, I got her a 4 terabyte HDST UltraStar. It's an older drive, but I found that they're actually super reliable, and they're fairly inexpensive, so that's what I went with on that. In terms of the keyboard and mouse, I got her the same models that she actually uses to edit out of the trailer, and she seems to like those. And so I think we're probably set on those for the time being. So with these upgrades, I'm actually going to set the goal on GoFundMe at $1,500. That'll give a little bit of room to cover taxes and other things that are going to be associated with purchasing these products. So that's kind of where we're at. I don't expect that this is going to happen right away, and I will definitely be contributing a lot of this on my own. As I've mentioned, I will be taking any money that I earn from YouTube or related and sending that directly into this project. So even if the community is unable to really chip in, I will be taking care of this, although it might take a little while. This channel doesn't bring in that much revenue. 10,000 subscribers is significant, but the amount of revenue that comes from that isn't necessarily that high. So even with me contributing 100%, we're still talking many months in order to get to this level, in order to get her the machine that I really wanted to. I understand that not everybody's in a position to help, and there's no expectation on my part of anybody watching the channel to chip in on this. But anybody who can, that effort is very much appreciated. As mentioned, I really want to help Whit out. I want to do something special for her because she has done so much for me and for this channel. You guys really have no idea how much effort and whatnot she has put into this, and the new life that she has brought into the project. There's been numerous videos that I never would have made without her encouragement, and of course the entire Stream Team series wouldn't be possible without her as well. So even the contribution that she makes goes well beyond anything that you guys can actually visually see as part of the channel. It's everything about this channel is just so much better because of her. The channel really has been reborn because of her efforts and her enthusiasm. So if you're in a position to help out, I would certainly appreciate that. I really appreciate, and I know she will, any sort of contributions that are made to this project. If we do happen to get past the goal, the $1,500 goal on this, anything else that comes in, I'm just going to give directly to her. She could use a little bit of help. I mean, she just says, since she's in film and that industry is basically dead, she has had very little work over the last few months, and I really want to try and help her out. And I think as a community that there might be some out there that would be willing and excited to do what they can to help her as well. As mentioned, she's one of these people who just doesn't ever ask for help, and I want to try and do something for her. So start with a computer, get her a computer that's actually going to meet her needs for the next several years with her filmmaking and other things that she's involved with. And so, yeah, this is my effort to try and improve her life a little bit. So anything that you guys do to help out would be very appreciated as well. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and go. I don't want to make this video too incredibly long-winded, but thank you on behalf of both me and Whit for all the support that you've given to the channel, for all the excitement that you guys have for the content, for sharing, liking, subscribing, Patreon contributions, and moving forward memberships as well. That really is what makes this channel possible, and we want to continue to grow the channel. I think we're doing a decent job of getting information out there that probably isn't available otherwise, and a lot of people are looking for. So I really hope that we can continue doing this long into the future, and additional views and shares and likes and everything like that will go a long way to make that happen. So again, before I go, the link to that GoFundMe is djp.li/whitpcwhitpc. And yeah, we'll make sure that she gets a computer that's going to be up to the task of doing the types of things that she needs to do as part of her career. So anyway, thanks guys so much. Really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.